Starting your day off with a take on Vegas you won't get anywhere else.
Hi, I'm Holly Madison, and I listen to Brian Shapiro.
Hi, this is William Shatner, and I listen to Brian Shapiro.
Hey, this is Larry the Cable Guy, and I listen to Brian Shapiro. Why? Because I'm a good American. So is he. And if you don't listen to him, you need to pack up and leave this country.
This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
Come on, guys!
Oh, yeah. What's up, everybody? It is the Vegas Take, a very, very busy Wednesday in the world of news, politics, even sports. Yeah, I'll explain. A lot going on and a lot to get to today. It is Sharp and Shapiro. It is the Vegas Take, and it's one of the most interactive shows you will listen to on the radio. We love hearing from you. The number to call, 257-5396, 702-257-5396 to be a part of the show. Coming up in hour number 2, yeah, LeBron James taking some heat. He is taking some heat for some of his actions that he decided to take when his team played the Golden State Warriors and he sat out. We'll talk a little bit about that. An FBI probe. No, not talking about Donald Trump. Something else. We're talking about a couple college basketball coaches that are in a lot of trouble. We will get to that with Jamison Welsh from Drive Time Sports coming up in hour number 2. But, yeah, did you hear about this guy, Michael Cohen? Anybody hear about this guy? Yeah, he testified today. Did you guys hear about that? Yeah. Kind of a big story, and it was public testimony, and a lot to go over in regards to Michael Cohen. Now, if you listen to Fox News, Tucker Carlson, I caught a little bit of his show today, he'll lead you to believe that this was a big nothing burger, that Donald Trump has nothing to worry about. Michael Cohen, can't believe a word he says. It was all a circus, according to some people on the right. Well, guess what? Donald Trump could be in a lot of trouble. I will explain. And by the way, I'll even quote Judge Napolitano, who makes he made an appearance on Fox News today. He's on Fox News all the time. Very respected guy, and that's why they keep bringing him back on Fox News. The question is, Trump and his administration, if they want to call this guy Cohen a monster, then why did he keep him around for 10 years? What does that say about the judgment of Donald Trump? Let's just start there before we get into anything else. If this guy is such a horrible person and Donald Trump only hires the best people, according to him, why was this your right-hand man? What does that say about you? Start on that one. And by the way, according to Michael Cohen, federal prosecutors in New York are looking at plenty of other illegal possible acts by Donald Trump. So it doesn't stop with the Robert Mueller investigation like many might have you believing if you're watching right-wing television. If they can corroborate evidence, some of the things that Michael Cohen said today, and we'll go into all of it, and some of it is compelling evidence, and if they talk to other witnesses about this evidence, and you can corroborate it, Trump is in a lot of trouble, especially with the WikiLeaks stuff involving Roger Stone and Donald Trump. Donald Trump and Stone said, hey, we got some dirt on Hillary Clinton. Trump said, wouldn't that be great as far as dumping the DNC emails to damage Hillary Clinton? That's right. That would be committing a felony. And we are going to find out what exactly happened in the Mueller investigation, which is still ongoing. It hasn't ended yet. And by the way, if you're one of those people that's admitting that Mr. Cohen was a liar, you also better admit that Donald Trump is a liar, especially in regards to Russian business. It's funny how all these people on the right, including people on the committee today, were saying, why should we believe your testimony? You're a liar. But when it comes to Donald Trump, you never hear them talk like that, do you? I wonder why that is. Maybe that has something to do with an R next to their name. Cohen started with speaking today and said, Trump is a con man, a racist, and a cheater. Now, there's evidence of a check. These checks, by the way, there's not just one check. There's several checks. Okay? Several checks in regards to the payment of Stormy Daniels. And the Southern District of New York put this into evidence. It wasn't just Michael Cohen talking about this. Several of these checks that were $35,000 that were paid in installments to Michael Cohen detail specific. Donald Trump, he said he did not owe anyone any debts when he was the president of the United States. Then why was he paying Cohen in this false retainer. Several checks, and Cohen showed those checks, lying and sneaking about these payments that were made, saying that he knew nothing about these payments. That's more than just a lie. That could be breaking campaign finance violations, and that could be a very, very serious crime. Cohen also said that Trump ordered him to threaten people legally or otherwise over 500 times in the 10 years that Cohen worked for him. And then we go on to property tax fraud. And I want to play you a little bit of audio from Catherine Ocasio. I should say Ocasio-Cortez. And it's about a minute of audio that I want you to hear in regards to what a fraud Donald Trump is when it comes to taxes and the properties that he had. I want you to listen to this. Have a listen.
August 21st, 2016 report by the Washington Post, while the president claimed in financial disclosure forms that Trump National Golf Club in Jupiter, Florida, was worth more than $50 million, he had reported otherwise to local tax authorities that the course was worth, quote, no more than $5 million. Mr. Cohen, do you know whether this specific report is accurate?
It's identical to what he did at Trump National Golf Club at Briarcliff Manor.
Do you know, to your knowledge, was the president interested in reducing his local real estate bills, tax bills?
Yes.
And how did he do that?
What you do is you deflate the value of the asset, and then you put in a request to the tax department for a deduction.
Thank you.
So there you go. So when I use the term con man, when Cohen used the term con man, that's part of what he's talking about. That could be a serious crime. When you tell somebody your golf course and you admit, and everyone knows your golf course is worth $50 million, and then according to taxes, you say that your course is worth $5 million, that is a crime. And perhaps that is why Donald Trump does not want, one of the reasons why he doesn't want to show his tax returns. It's what I've been saying all along. Whether you believe that there was Russian collusion or not, there is a reason why he doesn't want to show his tax returns, and that's one of the reasons. Massive property fraud, both in Florida and New York. And guess who had to pay for that? $127 million taxpayer dollars to one of his golf courses, and he basically keeps every single penny. It's insane. It's absolutely, absolutely, positively insane. But nobody wants to talk like that. People on the right don't want to talk about that. The man is a fraud. And I am not even referencing possible collusion with Russia because I don't know. We're going to find that out in the Mueller investigation and figure out what's going on. This is property tax fraud. This is a serious, serious issue. The number to call if you want to be a part of the program, 257-5396. Again, that number to call, 702-257-5396. We are going to continue to go through the testimony today to talk about it and figure out why so many people on the right and so many Republicans are attacking Michael Cohen. Don't seem to ask any difficult questions about Donald Trump, though. Why is that? That is politics today. That is the issue we're in today. Look, Cohen is an absolute scumbag. He is an absolute scumbag. We all know that. He's a liar. But when people on the right call him a liar, what do you think he lied about? He lied about stuff in regards to Trump. The reason why he got into this mess in the first place is because of Donald Trump, because of the things he did for Donald Trump. He lied about Donald Trump. That's what he did. It's so amazing to me that people on the right are attacking Cohen for being a liar. He is a liar. He lied about the guy that you support to protect him. That's who he lied about. That's why he's in this mess. His family didn't do anything. His family didn't do anything. I feel bad for his kids. I feel bad for his family. It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's insane. But yet people on the right want to protect him. People want to assume that, no, this isn't a big deal. It's a big nothing burger. There's no collusion. Nothing. Well, you know what? I'll take Judge Napolitano's word on this one. I think this guy knows the law pretty well, and he thinks that there's a good chance that there are 4 solid felonies. 4 solid felonies that the president may have committed either before or during the presidency. And many of the Democrats believe that he did break some serious laws as president. We haven't heard some of these people come out and say that until today. Again, the number to call, 257-5396, 702-257-5396. Let's start with Gary. Gary, thanks for calling in. How are you?
Hey, thank you. Let me try again on my famous Obama phone. But actually, it's not an Obama phone, but maybe I should get one.
Gary, what do you think? What do you think about this testimony, Gary?
I think the man is not patriotic. I think what you just called him a few moments ago sums it up. But I'm not saying that he's not telling the truth. Maybe none of us are perfect. President Trump is not perfect. He's probably a liar. He's our chief liar.
I agree, but there's a fine line between being a liar, not being perfect, and committing serious, massive property tax fraud, both in Florida and New York, and consistently lying about these hush money payments when he said he knew nothing about it, and it could have been campaign finance laws that he broke. There's a fine line between lying. Yes, I agree with you, Gary. Nobody's perfect. I agree with you. A lot of politicians lie, but this is a different degree of lying, and I understand that Cohen lied, and everybody wants to attack Cohen for being a liar. He lied to protect the president. He lied for years to protect Donald Trump. Nobody wants to talk about that.
All I can say is I don't know if you know who Joni Mitchell is, and she's saying you don't know what you've got until it's gone. And if they impeach this president, I don't know if we have a country anymore.
Okay, Gary, I appreciate your opinion on that. I can guarantee you one thing. We will still have a country because if they impeach Donald Trump, even though I can't stand Mr. Pence, our vice president, he would be the president. The country would not fall apart. In fact, even though I am the last person to defend Mike Pence, I actually think he would do a better job than Donald Trump. He wouldn't embarrass the country on a daily basis. 257-5396, the number to call. Let's go to Kelly. Kelly, how are you?
Well, you're giving me heartburn.
What did you eat for dinner? That's not my fault.
Well, what's funny is, I watched the entire thing.
So did I.
And I know. But we apparently watched 2 different things.
Well, what did I say let's start here, Kelly. What did I say in this monologue that you disagree with?
Okay.
Let's start there.
The whole Hillary dumping emails, they caught him in a lie. I don't know if you heard this, but they've already made some extra criminal referrals for him lying under oath today.
I understand that. I'm not disagreeing with you, Kelly, but what I'm trying to...
He lied about that because
I understand,
they caught him in a lie.
I understand.
Hold on.
I know, but
you asked me.
but what did I say that you disagree with?
That's what I'm saying. You were talking about the email dump and how...
Okay, you're talking about Roger Stone, the Roger Stone Trump thing. Okay, go ahead.
Right.
Yes.
And they said, they were like, well, I'm sorry you were late. This is not even fake news. It's late news because you said this phone call where Roger Stone was on the speakerphone, okay, that actually occurred a month after the email dump. And then he was like, so that's already out the window.
Well, no, that's not true. That's not true because if Stone had these WikiLeaks, these contacts, and Trump knew about it, that is a crime. You're just throwing that out the window.
No, Trump doesn't have a duty to call the FBI and say, hey, by the way, and they even asked him, did you know what was the content of all those emails, what the source of those emails would have come from? And he's like, no.
Okay, well, that's where we disagree because I think Trump is lying. But go ahead, move on. We'll agree to disagree on that. Go ahead.
Right. The crux of everything here is that there's no proof.
What do you mean there's no proof? I guarantee you if Robert Mueller has his taxes, he absolutely committed massive property tax fraud. There is no question about that. How's that? Did you not hear what Cortez said? He said his golf course was worth $5 million when everybody knew the estimated value of his course was at least $50 million.
Amazon just got a tax refund of hundreds of millions of dollars from the government. They didn't even pay any taxes.
Okay.
Businesses get perks for bringing their businesses because they bring jobs in.
That has nothing to do with the fact that he might have committed massive property tax fraud. With all due respect, Kelly, that has nothing to do with what – I mean, that's a completely –
we disagree on that.
Well, it's not – but hold on a second. It's not a disagreement. That is a fact. Okay? He said his golf course was worth $5 million to the IRS. It was worth 50. He also inflated assets to an insurance company. I guarantee you that information is in the Mueller report. We are going to get that.
Okay, and if it isn't, then what?
If it, look, I've said this all along. I'm not even talking about Russian collusion. But if there's no Russian collusion and Robert Mueller came up with nothing, then I will sit here on the radio and I'll say, you know what? We have to move on, and we have to let this man do his job and let him be a jerk every day. But we got to let him do his job and move on. I'm okay with that. That's fine. But when I hear people like Judge Napolitano talking about that, from what he understands, there could be at least 4 possible felonies. I take that very seriously.
Okay, well, I got 2 more points to make.
Okay, quickly.
The other thing is there is no legal requirement for a president to release tax returns.
I never said there was, but I'm telling you there's a reason why he won't show them.
Well, why should he?
Why should he? Why should have Barack Obama showed his birth certificate? There was no requirement, but you got some moron for 5 years. Yeah, that's right. Our president.
Well, he didn't have to.
You're right, but you know why he did it?
There's no legal requirement.
I didn't say there was. I've never said.
Brian, there is a legal requirement to be a natural-born citizen to be the president of the United States.
I understand that, but there was
so there was a requirement for him to show.
No, there wasn't. You're absolutely wrong. He did not have to show his birth certificate at that time.
Okay, and then the last thing I want to say is just because he signed checks doesn't mean he knew anything. I've worked at companies that are far smaller.
He reported. Here's where you're. No,
hold on.
Okay, but you're wrong.
Can I finish?
Go ahead. You're wrong though, but go ahead.
Okay, I'm just saying. I've worked at companies that are far smaller than the Trump organization, okay? And I've seen bosses, with, hundreds of checks, and they just sign. They don't sit there and get what's this check for?
Yep.
What's this check for?
I understand, Kelly. Here's where we disagree on this one, and unfortunately I got to get some other calls, Kelly, but always good to hear from you. I appreciate it when you call in. The problem with your premise there is Donald Trump was asked Robert Mueller if he owed Mueller asked him if he owed any debts to anyone when he was president of the United States. He said no in a written document. Then why is he making several payments? This was a false retainer. It is so obvious, and if people don't see through it, I don't know what to tell you. 257-5396. Let's go to Stan. Stan, thanks for calling in. How are you? Stan, you're on the Vegas take. How are you?
I just want to throw this out there. I'm a supporter of Trump. I realize that he might be facing tax fraud, and that's something he'll have to deal with after his presidency. But ultimately, I think, there's bigger things to deal with right now. And, I just wish Congress would support him a little bit more in the things he's trying to get done.
Well, so we should just push this aside then if he broke campaign finance law? I'm trying to understand.
No, I'm telling you, he'll deal with it when his presidency is over.
But that's the thing, though. If he broke, but that's the thing. And Stan, I understand what you're saying. You're right. There are a lot of important issues right now, including trying to denuclearize North Korea. I agree with you. But the problem is if he broke campaign finance law, he can't be the president. It's kind of like when Bill Clinton was president. There were probably stronger fish to fry. But if you're getting, sexual favors in the Oval Office and you lie about it, you can be impeached for that. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I still don't think he broke finance law, especially because it's coming out of his own bank account. He's paying it back on his own.
We don't know that 100%. It appears that way. It appears that it was a personal check that we saw. But again, Stan, the Robert Mueller investigation will tell us yes or no. I have faith in that investigation.
Hey, I agree with you. At the end of the day, I'm going to support him all the way through. I think he's doing a fabulous job. I don't agree with everything he's said, but I agree with a lot of what he's doing. And I think at the end of the day, we got to support our president and get these things done.
I mean, fair enough. I respect your opinion, Stan. The only way I would disagree with is I don't think under any circumstance we have to, support the president or respect the president. Especially if they're lying, especially if they put their own business interest over the country. And I do believe that Donald Trump is doing that. 257-5396. Let's go to Bud. Bud, thanks for waiting patiently on hold. How are you? Bud, are you there? Have we lost Bud? I believe we lost Bud. That's okay. We got some other callers waiting on the line. And again, that number to call is 257-5396, 702-257-5396. If you're calling in and the number is busy, I apologize for that. We are working on getting some more phone lines. But we do have one line open right now if you'd like to give us a call at 257-5396. Let's go to Lori. Lori, thanks for calling in. How are you, Lori?
Hi there.
Hi, Lori. What's on your mind?
Well, I'm a little bit upset with some of the things that you're saying. You're criticizing Republicans for being very one-sided, but you're making all kinds of judgments and assumptions based on very little information.
Be specific. In which comments?
The property taxes and things like that.
Okay, let's start there.
Everybody tries to reduce their property taxes.
Okay,
right? And I do that with my home.
But what you did and what the president did are two completely different things. When you say your golf course is worth $50 million and then you report to the IRS that it's worth $5 million, that is a massive property tax fraud, and he did it in New York and he did it in Florida. So with all due respect, I disagree with you. I think that is very important that we show this, and we show that this man is a con man. That is who he is.
Well, I wish that you would show him a little bit of respect because he is the president of the
Does
United
he show?
States.
Let me ask you a question, or let me put it this way. I wish he would show people respect that disagree with him. Do you complain about that? How about when he went after John
I do,
McCain?
actually.
Okay,
no,
well,
I do.
Then I respect your opinion. Go ahead. I was just going to say, I respect your opinion then, Lori, but it's the old saying, right? Give respect, get respect. Does Trump give respect?
In some situations he does, but sometimes he acts like a child.
Anybody? Yeah.
I was not a Trump fan.
Mm-hmm.
I voted for him because I could not possibly vote for Hillary Clinton. I think that she is as crooked as they come.
I think they both are.
Of them, actually.
I think they both are. Hillary. No, well, I'm not talking about Bill.
Thing.
Go ahead, Lori.
The birth certificate thing, you need to research that because Trump didn't originate that. Hillary Clinton brought that up in the primary.
And she was wrong. And then Donald Trump. Well, hold on. You're right. She did bring it up. And then Donald Trump, who wasn't even a politician at the time, raised the question for 5 years. And guess what? He was wrong also.
I think the only times that he even talked about it is when people asked him about it.
That's not true. He brought it up all the time. That's not true. I'm just telling you.
I don't remember it.
Okay,
I don't
Lori,
remember it like that.
Lori, it's good to hear from you. I'm glad to hear that you are not, you want the president to respect others as well. I am happy to hear you say that. Yes, in a perfect world, we should all respect one another, but it's one thing to not respect somebody. It is a completely different scenario to not hold somebody accountable. We have to hold everybody accountable. That doesn't mean you're disrespecting the president when you hold them accountable. When I bring up, massive property tax fraud, when I bring up the fact that he has lied, when I call him a con man, what would you call someone who commits property tax fraud? If I call somebody a con man, is that disrespecting them, or is it holding somebody accountable? And this isn't just the president. It would be for anybody, especially the president of the United States. I mean, that's not being disrespectful. That's just being honest. It's calling somebody out. Just like I call Michael Cohen out for being a liar. He is. He lied for Donald Trump. I'm not disrespecting Michael Cohen. I'm telling it like it is, like I always do on this show. Look, our phone lines are jammed right now at 257-5396. I have to take a quick break. I will get to Matthew, Don, Larry, and all your other phone calls when we come back. You're listening to The Vegas Take on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN. All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro. Sharpie is graciously showing me he's here. His presence is here. Sharpie, how's it going? How you doing? You're here. You made it. Thank you.
I made it. I'm here. I feel great. I feel wonderful.
Do you feel as good as Michael Cohen right now? That's the real question. I don't know. That's what we're talking about, obviously.
He's a piece of work, isn't he?
Well, he is a piece of work. So is our president. We're obviously discussing the Michael Cohen testimony, and we're taking your calls, and the phone lines are jammed. So we are going to continue to do that.
Let's do it.
Yes. Let's start off with Matthew, who's been waiting patiently on hold. Thank you, Matthew. How are you?
What's up, Matt?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for taking my call, guys.
You bet.
Hey, just real quick, I'll just tell you, it's amazing the emotion that's stirred up so high with everybody. I would just throw it out to everybody, the listeners yourself. Take a breath and think about this saying. The saying is, power corrupts. Absolute power absolutely corrupts. And I'm not a Trump guy. I'll just say they're all dirty. It's politics. This is what they do.
Yeah, Matthew, I could not agree with you more.
You know what I said to Brian about 5 minutes ago in break? I said, if this guy goes down for property tax fraud, first of all, I know quite a few wealthy people. And they all do this stuff. And I bet there's 500 or 600 politicians who have done this exact same thing.
The reason why I'm going to disagree.
This is not a singular situation.
I disagree with you. Maybe your house is worth $500,000 and you say it's worth $100,000, but not many politicians have a golf course that's worth $50 million and say it's worth $5 million. So in that aspect, I completely disagree.
It kind of reminds me of the movie.
Yes. Now let me jump in. That's a great point you just made about the golf course. And again, it's on all sides. I'm not associated party. I'm just going to say that if this is true, it's beyond grotesque. It's so far egregious that it's beyond felonious.
Matthew, you seem to be Go ahead, Matt.
At the same time, you have to say the same thing with the Clinton Foundation and the hundreds of millions of dollars from the Haitian Fund. They're all crooked.
I don't disagree.
And
it sets the worst precedent ever.
Man, Matt, it's good to hear from you.
If he goes down for property tax fraud.
Yeah. Matt, it's good to hear from you. I do not disagree with you one bit. The only issue I would say is you're probably right about the Clinton Foundation. By the way, I haven't even gotten into the foundation of Donald Trump. We'll get into that in a little bit. Why there's no more foundation or charitable foundation? Well, we'll get into that. We got to take a few more calls. Matt, I couldn't agree with you more. There's corruption on both sides. Unfortunately, money equals power. Politics, you're right. I do not disagree. I say that every single show. In those terms. 257-5396 is the number to call. Don, thanks for waiting on hold. How are you?
What's up, Don?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I think Matt said it all what I was going to say, that basically, nothing ever happened to Hillary Clinton. Nothing's ever going to happen to her. I really believe nothing ever is going to happen to Donald Trump. I did vote for Donald Trump because I did not want to see Hillary Clinton to be our president. But I have to kind of agree with Matt. Everybody's corrupt in the political system that we live in. And the sad thing about it is the men and women, and I have family members that are in the military, they suffer, and the American people always get the short end of the stick. And we just have to keep on working to provide for our families.
Don, you make good points, Don. And again, I'm not going to I'm not going to disagree with you either, Don. But let me say this, okay? And you could tell me what you think about this. Just because it's happened in the past, and maybe I'm being naive when I say this, doesn't mean it has to happen in the future. And something needs to be done about these politicians. Now, whether it is the president of the United States or whether it is somebody in the past, whether it's the Clinton Foundation, something needs to be done. These people need to be held accountable. And it is my personal belief that Donald Trump, a trust fund baby, his whole life has been able to pretty much think that he can do whatever he wants to do without any consequences. Now it's time for some consequences. I don't know what the Robert Mueller report's going to come up with. I really don't. Nobody knows.
I have to agree with you, but the bottom line is, why do we have to start all this with Donald Trump? Why don't they start from the beginning with Hillary Clinton?
Okay, I can't answer that.
Really investigate her and investigate Donald. This is all political stuff.
Or
this is
the,
stuff that's
the
beyond
Kennedys,
our comprehension.
Or the Bushes.
There's so much corruption in our government. And again, I have to say, the American people have suffered. I'm 69 years old. I voted in every presidential election that I could possibly vote in.
Right.
And my family was a Kennedy Democrat.
Uh-huh.
And I'm an independent now. But I don't agree with, I just don't agree what's going on with all of this mess.
Don,
you know what I'm saying? It's not fair.
Don, I know exactly what you're saying. And again, and I appreciate the call, Don. Good to hear from you. I wish that there was a way to make sure that this corruption just stopped. I don't know what the answer is, but I guess the point I'm trying to make is, and I know what some people are going to say, oh, just because you're a Trump hater. Look, Hillary Clinton's not the president of the United States right now. Now, she was in politics for a while, but right now she is out of politics. I want the people that are in politics, and I don't care whether they're on the right or the left. The people that are in politics right now, let's hold everybody accountable. I don't care what side of the aisle they're on. If somebody makes an anti-Semitic comment like this woman who's a Democrat in Congress, then let's hold her accountable. If somebody on the right says something that is racist, like King, let's hold them accountable. So I think maybe you're seeing more of that in politics today, where people are being held maybe a little bit more accountable than they have been held in years past. I think we need to see that through. Let's take another phone call. Let's go to Larry. Larry, thanks for calling in. How are you, Larry?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
Doing good, Larry. What's on your mind?
What's up, Larry?
Yes, I just think that all of this stuff is a bunch of shenanigans. Like, I think that the left is still butthurt because of Trump losing the election. Trump winning the election and Hillary losing. And I just think that they're still butthurt because every day it is something. It's like a witch hunt.
So, Larry, can I ask you?
It's always a witch hunt.
Larry,
leftists always grab.
Larry, let me ask you a question.
The stories that CNN put out there, and then when this blow over, there'll be something different next week, and then the week after that, there'll be something different.
Larry, can I ask you a question?
It's a bunch of bull crap.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question, Larry. Are you an African American?
Yes.
Okay, in Charlottetown, Virginia, when there were KKK members and Nazis on one side, and then there was Antifa on the other side, and your president of the United States said there's good people on both sides. As an African American, how does that make you feel?
That made me not want to support Trump anymore.
I'm glad to hear you say that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm glad that Trump is the president because it exposed a lot of things to black people. It exposed all the racists.
Right.
It exposed all the sneaky racists, which is the left.
Right.
That's racist.
Well, it's not. But it's not just the left. But it's not just the left, Larry. You have to admit it.
It's both parties.
Right. Right.
True enough. I voted for Trump.
So you're saying, Larry, I want to understand. I want to understand what you're saying. Because you're a very important caller, and I want to clearly understand to our listeners what you are saying. You are saying you are happy Trump is president. Maybe he's a racist, maybe he's not. I didn't ask you that question, but you're happy that
Trump is a racist.
So
I'm happy that he's the president because
it brought these issues up.
All the racism.
Right. I see what you're saying.
Exposed the real racism that's going on in America.
I totally.
What he's saying is he thinks
totally understand.
Now we got your left-wing racists that are throwing rocks and hiding their hands.
Right.
And then you got your direct racists. That's the right wing. That's out here blatant racist.
So I agree.
To me, I feel like it exposed a lot.
Yeah, I agree, Larry.
There's definitely interesting levels of racism. What he's saying is he thinks that the left party has been kind of playing African Americans for fools for years and years and years.
I understand what he was saying, but he also said it's on both sides, which I agree with. And he's also saying the president is a racist, which by now I wouldn't say is far-fetched. And I am glad to hear from guys like Larry, and he made a very interesting point.
I will say that the statements that Cohen made about Trump driving around in the car and making statements that he meant, those mean nothing to me. You can't corroborate them. You can't prove them. Those are ridiculous. And anybody who takes those and says, "Oh, that makes Trump a racist,"
I didn't bring
is
up
totally biased.
I didn't bring up that. I brought up his housing issues with trying to get African Americans out of his housing.
He also has employed quite a few minorities.
Doesn't mean he's not a racist. That means nothing to me. That means absolutely nothing to me. I don't care how many African Americans he's hired. When you say there are good people on both sides in Charlottetown, Virginia, that to me that was just an absolutely ridiculous thing to say. But I understand what you're saying about hiring people. I'm glad he hires people, but I don't think that has anything to do with whether he is a racist or not. Rapists coming into this country, I suppose some of them are good people. I'm saying that's just moronic. 257-5396 is the number to call. Again, 702-257-5396. Good to hear from you. Bill, thanks for calling in. How are you?
Yeah, good evening, gentlemen. I have one brief comment to make, and that's it. I'll get off the air. Our country is based on celebrities now. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's spilled over into politics. And the final thing that I will say is everybody goes back and forth fighting like cats and dogs. Listen to this and remember this the rest of your life, young man. All politicians come in as virgins and they leave whores. That's the bottom line.
I would say the majority of them, Bill. I'm not about to say every single politician comes out like that.
Penniless. Right here in this city, he's worth $50 million. Mr. Reed went in penniless, and Obama had some good qualities. He's worth $40 million.
What about Bernie Sanders?
Go in clean, and they come out the way I said
Bill, what about Bernie Sanders? He's net worth, they're saying, around $300,000. Do you know how long he has been a politician?
Well,
longer than I've been alive.
I understand he has about 3 homes.
He is worth about $300,000 net worth.
Money, him and the wife.
Okay, well, you're assuming that.
Years,
Bill, I understand what you're saying. Bill,
they just will fight us back and forth for eons. They argue during the daytime together, and then in D.C. they drink together at night.
Bill, I get what you're saying. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you, but when you say look, I'm with you. I think most politicians are scumbags, liars. They're in it for themselves. Okay, but I'm not about to say all of them, and I appreciate.
You can indict a ham sandwich.
Well, that's not necessarily true. All right. Now, Bill, come on. Now you're getting a little crazy. You can't indict somebody for not committing a crime. Okay, that's not. I'm not saying in the world that's never happened before. Okay, but don't tell me that Roger Stone didn't commit a crime. Don't tell me that Paul Manafort didn't commit a crime. Don't tell me that Gates didn't commit a crime. No, there are people around the Trump administration that lied to the FBI, that lied about a lot of things, and that committed crimes. So please, let's go with Anthony. Anthony, thanks for calling in. How are you?
Hey, I'm fine. Absolutely enjoying your show today. I'm glad I ran across it. I've been back in Vegas now for about a few months, and I enjoy your show.
Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate that.
Thank you. It really bothers me that both sides do a type of argument. It's definitely obvious that Trump, he's definitely going to jail if he doesn't get impeached, he's going to jail.
Can I ask you a question, Anthony? Who do you think has a better chance of going to jail? Because this is Don Jr. or Donald Trump, our president?
I think because of his organization, Trump Sr. is going. Don Jr. He can say, that I was doing what I was told of being directed.
Right. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. And by the way, Anthony, I didn't even bring this up yet. You know what? I'll wait on this one. I want to talk a little bit next segment about his charity, Donald Trump, his foundation. I mean, we learned some stuff today that is just ridiculous, Anthony, about what he's been doing.
And I think that as Americans, we chose a guy to protect and preserve our Constitution,
right,
who don't even care about it.
Mm-hmm.
So now, I'm kind of hurt that we didn't get a former Secretary of State, someone that at least respects and will preserve our Constitution.
Anthony, if Joe Biden runs against Donald Trump in 2 years, who do you vote for?
I don't know.
That's a tough question. I know. I understand.
I'm stuck. I'm stuck.
I hear you. I think a lot of people, Anthony, are stuck, but I appreciate your phone call. Good to hear from you. A lot of people, JD, calling in the last week or so that voted for Donald Trump, and it doesn't sound to me like a lot of these people, or at least some of them that call in, are fans of the president anymore. 257-5396. We can't get JD, though, to turn around. My co-host can't do it. He's still a Trump supporter. You're still going to vote for Trump in 2 years no matter what, right? No matter what, you're still voting for Trump. Just admit it live on the air right now. On 4 or 5 states, 50,000 watts.
Are you voting? Is my question for you.
Yes, I have made a decision.
You are voting.
I have made a decision in my mind. No matter who runs against Donald Trump, I am voting against Donald Trump. Yes, I've made that decision. Let's go to Brian. Brian, thanks for calling into the Vegas Take. How are you?
I'm excellent. I'd probably vote for President Trump again.
Not me, my friend.
I can't wait to vote for him in 2020.
Why is that?
And because he's done many, many, many good things. And like all of your most of your callers have said tonight, Hillary Clinton is a bigger crook than he is.
Hillary Clinton is not running for president.
Despicable.
I know, but Hillary's not a part of the conversation right now. She's not in politics.
New group of people you got running. They're a bunch of kooks.
Joe, okay, well, hold on a second. First of all, I respect Bernie Sanders. I'm not saying I agree with a lot of his politics. I think they're way too far to the left for me. But I wouldn't call Bernie Sanders a kook, or as Donald Trump calls him, crazy Bernie. This is a man who's done a lot for civil rights issues. He is a good, decent man. If you want to talk about policy, fine. You disagree with his politics? I do too. I don't think people should get $15 an hour minimum wage. I don't agree with that. I don't think people should go to college for free. But you cannot tell me that Donald Trump is a better person than Bernie Sanders. You cannot tell me that Bernie Sanders is more corrupt.
You don't really know Bernie, and I don't really know Bernie.
No,
so
we can go by. But we do know a little bit about Donald Trump, don't we? We do know about all of his lies.
Know things that have been put in the media about him. Same with Bernie.
This is not
things. You don't know either one of them. You never met either
come
one
on,
of them.
Are you kidding me?
Donald
Trump has had several hold on a second, Brian. Donald Trump has had several ex-wives. He's cheated. He's probably slept with all of Manhattan. Okay, not a good. You can laugh, but it's true. Not a good husband. Okay, we know that for sure. We know about this property tax fraud. We know he's a complete liar. You know,
we don't know any of that, quite frankly.
Yes, we. Oh, really? He doesn't have. He doesn't have 3 ex-wives.
Push against him. You don't know it. I don't know.
He doesn't have ex-wives. He can't hold a wife.
His is worth between $2 and $4 million.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know where you're getting that from. Are you talking about his properties or liquid money?
Insider, right here.
Liquid.
I'm looking at.
I know you did your Google search, but
received $1.75 million from book royalties just since 2016.
How much money, liquid money, does he have? And I am not talking about the homes that he owns.
That's
and yes,
their estimate.
Okay, well, I'm not including the homes that he owns. Okay, I'm not including the 3 homes that he has. Okay, from what I've heard, liquid money that he has available right now is around $300,000.
Well, if you're looking at wealth, you got to include his homes.
Okay, so let's just say
they're all very expensive properties. I don't know if you've seen them.
He's been in politics for longer.
The lake.
He's been in politics for how long? I don't even know. Longer than I've been alive. The guy. okay, let's just take your word for it. He's worth $4 million. I would rather have a guy like that in office who cares more about the middle class and cares more about taking care of people that are struggling than a guy like Donald Trump who wants to give tax breaks for the top 1%. That's how I feel, Brian, and I got to get to some other callers. I always appreciate it when you call in. We completely disagree today, Brian. Good to hear from you, though. Let's go take some more phone calls at 257-5396, 702-257-5396. Let's go to Corey. Corey, thanks for calling in. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
Doing good, Corey. What's on your mind?
Well, I was just kind of wondering why you are kind of like just siding with the other side regardless. You know, like you haven't even given a really good logical answer as to why we need to go with somebody else other than Trump.
Okay,
I mean,
I will
right
give
now,
you.
what
I'll
I'm seeing out
answer.
of Trump
I will try to be as.
He's growing the middle class. He's improving the economy.
So did Obama.
Everybody's
So did Obama.
pockets are being filled up.
So did Obama.
He's also demonstrated.
Okay, I'll let you keep talking. Go ahead.
You know, regarding the racism issue, you know, like if you look at Latinos, blacks, all the other different kinds of races out there, they're all higher employment right now. And unemployment rate is better under Trump. Why didn't Obama for 2 terms have the chance to do that?
Okay, are you going to let me answer?
What's your reasoning why we should go with
You've asked me 4 questions
like,
now.
For example, Bernie.
I'm waiting for you to let me answer. You've asked me 4 questions now, Corey. With all due respect, I'm going to keep you on the line, but let me at least answer one of your questions. I thought I've made it very clear on this show every single day why I do not support the President of the United States. Yes, some of his policies are working. Some of his policies I couldn't disagree with more. For example, the transgender issue in the military, I think that is an absolutely disgusting situation, and I don't agree with it. I don't agree with the we're going to build a wall and Mexico is going to pay for it, which he campaigned for. The man is a con man, and he is a liar. Now, true, most politicians are liars, but this man embarrasses the country. I don't want somebody representing this country who stands up there with an evil dictator like Vladimir Putin and takes his word for it and kisses his ass over our own intelligence. I hope I answered your questions, Corey, but I just gave 3 big examples right there, and I guess you're not listening to me. If you don't understand that, then I don't understand, I didn't even bring up the John McCain comments. To me, that you shouldn't even be the President of the United States when you make comments like that about a POW. 257-5396. Let's go to Caesar. Caesar, thank you for calling in. How are you?
Great, thank you. Thank you for answering my call.
Yes, sir.
Question for you. Did I hear Michael Cohen this morning said that Donald Trump had an office next to a Russian mobster?
He alluded to that, yes. I don't know why they didn't push him on that, but yes, he alluded to that. I did hear that.
Do you happen to know how long they had they were neighbors?
Yeah, that I don't know. But here's something we do know, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, Cesar, in the next segment. This is very interesting to me. Apparently, Cohen said that a Ukrainian oligarch wanted him to speak for about 15 minutes at an event, and apparently they paid him $100,000, not personally, but they paid him into his charity foundation money so they didn't have to pay taxes for it. Apparently Donald Trump did this a lot, and there's proof of it. If that's true, he committed a felony.
Well, so did Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, because they've done that more than Trump's done that.
And I don't disagree, but they're not the president
They
anymore.
basically built almost their entire fortune off of that.
You know what? If somebody murders somebody, they say,
I think they actually charged $550,000 when they did it instead of $100,000.
Okay, but here's my question, JD. When I bring
who was the Russian monster that they were talking about?
I don't know. Do you know, JD?
He did say it this morning.
Yeah, I don't recall. You know what?
I have no clue.
I will do my due diligence for you.
So we will
find out.
He had an office in upstate New York next to a Russian owned a bathhouse, or what?
A lot of the Trump followers should do the same.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Cesar? I am going to do some investigative reporting, and I'm going to try to find out more information for you. Okay? I appreciate you calling in. Good to hear from you. Why don't we take one more call? Let's go to Bob. By the way, the number to call if you want to buzz us, 257-5396. If you're in faraway lands, 702-257-5396. Let's go to Bob. Bob, good to hear from you. How are you?
If there's nobody on the other side I'd vote for.
Bob? Bob, are you there?
I just want to let you know.
Yes. Go ahead, Bob. Repeat that.
I would vote for Trump again. There's no question about it.
Okay. Well, explain to us why. What do you like about Donald Trump?
Because I think he's done a lot for everybody. I mean, he's gotten these wages. He's getting more people employed because he's bringing these corporations back into the country. And once you get somebody who's going to tax a lot of corporations, they'll just leave again. We're back where we were 5 or 6 years ago.
So you're okay with giving tax breaks to the rich? Then you're okay with that?
Well, the thing is that they're the ones that contribute about 50 to 60% of the money coming in.
Well, the question is, Brian, how much?
They don't even have to file taxes.
How many people are the rich, the 1% actually employing? How many jobs are they creating with their companies? And that's actually very important. You take into consideration. You aren't.
Let me comment. We'll talk about that. I mean, that's a good point. But let me comment on what Bob just said. Bob, here's the thing. You say, well, they pay 50 or 60%. They're not paying a higher percentage than a guy making $45,000 a year, a household income
I'm talking about a percentage of the amount of money.
And I'm talking about, are they paying
about something else?
No, I'm talking about logic. Let me explain, okay? A household income of $50,000, a family, a good middle-class family, struggling a little bit, living paycheck to paycheck. They shouldn't have to pay a higher percentage of their taxes than somebody that is making billions of dollars a year. Now, you're making the argument, well, they pay 60%, 70%, whatever the number might be. Well, yeah, it's because they're loaded with money, but they're paying a lower percentage.
They're also making outside investments that are losing. They're also donating money to different charities, et cetera, et cetera. You have to consider philanthropy. There's a lot of different things that take place when you have a lot of money compared to when you don't.
Okay, but you guys are making that excuse that it's okay for them to pay a lower percentage than somebody making $40,000 a year. I disagree.
Obama's tax bracket for the top 5%, I believe, was almost 45%.
And that doesn't make it right. You keep bringing up Clinton and Obama. I'm talking about Trump. We got to take a quick break. Bob, I appreciate the call. Let's have a good debate on this when we come back. I think it is a good debate. Do you think that somebody making $1 billion a year should pay a less percentage rate than somebody making $40,000 a year? I disagree with that. We'll take your calls on that. Me and JD will get into a good debate on this. I have a feeling. 257-5396, the number to call. 702-257-5396 to be a part of the conversation. We'll talk about this. Oh, yeah, and the Trump Foundation when we come back. You are listening to The Vegas Take. All right, welcome back. It is The Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro, glad you could join us. Very, very crazy, busy day. Yeah, that's right, in the news world. So glad you could join us on a Wednesday evening, a beautiful Wednesday evening. By the way, tomorrow on the show, Mike Babcock from TMZ Sports will be joining us. We got Johnny Katz from the Review Journal. And yeah, we'll be continuing to follow this Michael Cohen stuff. And we're also taking your calls as far as this testimony goes for this segment. Coming up next segment, Jamison Walsh from Drive Time Sports will be joining us. LeBron James taking a lot of heat. We got this FBI probe, college basketball probe. It's nuts. There's so many crazy things going on in the world, not just news, politics, sports, everything. It's a good time, JD, to be doing a radio show. So, JD, where am I wrong here? Explain to me. Where am I wrong, Mr. Sharp? When it comes to Donald Trump and this Cohen testimony, you think this is just a big nothing burger? Explain to me. Where am I wrong?
A nothing burger?
Yeah.
What exactly is a nothing burger? That's the first time I've ever heard that term in my entire life.
Basically, this Cohen thing is nonsense, and nothing's going to happen to Donald Trump. There's no accountability. And
I think that if Trump goes down for tax or property tax fraud, it is going to start a chain reaction, and you're going to see a lot of Fortune 500 companies, major CEOs, politicians, extremely wealthy people go down with him.
All right. Well, tell me what you think about this.
And that's just not going to take place.
That's just one aspect of this, though. You know, there's so many other.
Agree.
There's so many, and I agree that I don't know what's going to happen there. All I know is he's a scumbag. Okay, listen to this. Trump apparently bought himself a self-portrait for himself with his charity foundation money. That's right. He bragged about how the portrait sold for more than any other celebrity portrait in the auction. That's a typical Donald Trump scumbag move. And if he spent his own,
it's consistent to his character. That's not a surprise.
Apparently, he bought 3 of these, but here's the problem. I don't care if he spent $1 million of his own money. If he wants to be a moron and he wants to buy paintings of himself, go ahead, do it. You know, you narcissist, go ahead.
Have you seen the inside of the top floor of his?
Yeah, it's a joke. It's a joke. He's a narcissist.
It's entirely in gold.
Yeah,
everything is gold there.
He's a nut. Okay, but I don't have a problem with that as long as you spend your own money. You can do whatever you want. Okay, but he took foundation money. Okay, that is a crime. He took charity foundation money, bought 3 of these, and they're at his stupid golf courses. Okay, this is about his ego and brand enhancement. And guess what? It's illegal. And Cohen also said that a Ukrainian oligarch wanted him to speak. Cohen negotiated a $100,000 deal. There's a paper trail of this. And the money was sent to his foundation. Now, why would he do that? Because he didn't have to pay taxes on it. Okay? It's the main reason why the foundation shut down.
That's how every single charitable organization works, Brian.
Not true. What are you talking about? You're saying every charitable foundation uses their own money to buy portraits of themselves so they don't have to pay taxes on it? What are you saying?
I'm saying people purchase things and they move them under the organizations to avoid paying taxes.
So you're saying
again, it's a smart business move.
I know
it's been happening for a long, long time.
I know a lot of people that run a lot of great charities here, and they're not using money from those charities to buy personal items for themselves to boost ego. I don't understand what you mean by that. If somebody does that, it's illegal. It's against the law. And this is a lot. He's spending 60, 70 grand on a stupid painting of himself, and then he's using the money from his foundation. It's illegal. You can't do that. And don't give me this, but the Hillary Clinton Foundation, the Clinton Foundation. I'm not talking about the Clinton Foundation. I'm talking about Trump, okay? That happened years ago, and if it did happen and they broke the law, they probably should have gotten arrested or gone to jail for it. I don't have a problem with that, but don't you bring up Hillary Clinton now, because this is Trump. He is the president. Right now, Donald Trump's president. Hillary and Bill are out of politics.
Did he reimburse any of that money?
No,
personally?
He did, no.
Do you know that for a fact?
Yes, 100 based on the finances. Yes, and if he did reimburse it, I guarantee you all this is going to come out. I guarantee you. First of all, there's no chance he reimbursed that. There's a reason why he did that. 99.9%. I'll say that. There's no chance. Okay? Same chance UNLV beats Nevada tonight. We'll talk about that in about 20 minutes with Jameson Walsh. Anyway, let's take some more phone calls. 257-5396. JD's making me lose my voice. 257-5396. Let's go to JD. JD, thanks for calling in. How are you?
What's up, JD?
Hey, great guys. Let me address a question to JD, Brian. What I got out of these hearings this morning that was very important is when directly asked the question about Russian collusion in his campaign.
He said no.
He definitely stated that he knew of no collusion between the campaign and the Russians. Correct, JD?
He did. And I thought that's what this was all about, this entire probe, this raid, all of this. I thought that was kind of the premise of it. And what they're doing is they're taking whatever they get from it and kind of creating this flower and picking any leaf they can.
Can I just add one other thing?
Don't you think so, JD?
Let me just add one quick thing, and then you can continue to have your JD and JD can continue to have discussions together. I don't mind that at all. But let me just add this. Just because Michael Cohen says there wasn't collusion doesn't mean there wasn't collusion. You can laugh.
So then I guess all the Democrats, Adam Schiff and Schumer and Pelosi, who say there is collusion, it doesn't matter because that's all they're just saying.
JD, just because Cohen says he doesn't have any evidence that there was collusion doesn't mean that there's not collusion. There's still an ongoing investigation.
At this point, they are just pivoting. And trying to pick up something
make that assumption?
to bring this guy. It's not an assumption.
So you know 100% there wasn't collusion.
The probe was based on collusion, correct? And
it was based on a number of different issues, that being a possibility of one of them. Campaign finance law, possible campaign finance law violations. That was another big part of it.
JD, finish where you were going with that.
Pardon me?
Finish where you were going with that.
Okay. First of all, watching these congressmen and women in these committee hearings shows me how some of these people are so dumb that they have no right and no ability to be in the halls of Congress. How they got there.
Yeah, I say that about the Oval Office, too. I completely agree, JD. Thank you. Go ahead.
Now, Russian collusion.
Yeah.
Professor Dershowitz has said there is nothing for Trump to be afraid of.
Really? Well, Judge Napolitano was on Fox News today, and I respect his opinion. He says there could be 4 possible felonies, and I could go into even further detail. So your point...
Professor Dershowitz is a lifetime Democrat.
Judge Napolitano is a lifetime judge. Next. Next.
As is Cohen, a lifetime Democrat.
And Judge Napolitano is one of the most respected judges who goes on Fox News every day. Next.
Now, you talk about this devaluation of golf courses and buildings.
Yes.
First of all, you say it's a crime. First of all, if it's a crime,
property tax fraud is a crime. Yes.
In collusion with all the New York powers that be, Democrats in power, where he had made probably campaign contributions, and he had requested assessments, and they had granted them. So legally, he was covered by the people that approved him.
You don't know that himself. You don't know that. You don't know that.
You don't know
You're making an assumption.
Well, Brian, the question is, who is making these valuations on these properties? on these assets. It's not him himself.
Trump.
Exactly.
Trump doesn't have the authority to lower it.
So you're telling me that Trump had absolutely nothing. I mean, all you guys give him all the credit in the world for being this smart, savvy businessman. You're telling me that when his golf course was worth an estimated $50 million by the most credible people in that city, you're telling me that when he put it down, or when someone else put it down as $5 million, you're saying on the record, both JDs, that he had absolutely nothing to do with that. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying
I'm saying he requested it.
Yeah, well, no crap.
And I'm saying he didn't make his own valuations.
Okay,
clearly.
I'm sure Trump had absolutely nothing to do with it.
I can't just say, hey, my condo is worth $55 million.
Right.
I can't just do that.
His inflated assets to his insurance companies, though, but that's okay, right? He'll inflate everything when it comes to insurance. He had nothing to do with that either, right? It was one of his handlers that did that, I'm sure.
And in regard to finance, again, we've covered this so many times, and I know you're going to get mad at me, but in 2000,
let me guess, you're going to bring up Clinton or Obama. Let me guess.
Obama paid a $350,000
Don't be afraid, JD. Just keep doing it. It's fine.
Illegal campaign
it's okay.
finance.
Finance,
breaking finance.
JD.
Laws. This is his money. He did not take campaign money.
Okay, first of all, JD, you have absolutely no idea whether that's true or not. That's why there's an investigation, and we know that these checks were written out. You don't know if he broke campaign finance law. Because you're on the right and because you're a Trump supporter, you make all these assumptions, and now you're going to say, well, Brian, you make all these assumptions. Well, I'm going by the things that are said and the things that he's done and the history of his life.
Hey, Brian, I got a question for you. Would you become a Buffalo Bills fan if Donald Trump bought them?
That's a weird question to ask. I would become a fan of Kraft if he took over the Raiders, because there'd be more massage parlors in Vegas. So, yeah, I don't know. The Bills are terrible, by the way. Why would you want to buy that franchise? That franchise is so bad. They're like a minor league football franchise. They suck. Anyway, 257-5396. The answer is no, JD. Easy answer, no. 257-5. Why, would you?
I might get a tattoo.
You're going to do like Roger Stone? You're going to get like a Trump tattoo on the back? What an idiot that guy Stone is. What a moron. Who wants to get a Nixon tattoo on your back? Can you imagine if you're with a woman and she says, take your shirt off, and she sees a Nixon tattoo on your back? I mean, that's just gotta be the worst thing. Is that going to turn a woman on? Not to say that Roger Stone is Brad Pitt either. He's not. But my God. Ugh. Anyway, let's go to Jim, 257-5396. Jim, thanks for calling in. How are you, Jim?
What's up, Jim?
Jim, what happened to you? Did we lose you?
James? Hello, James.
I think we lost Jim.
All
right, Jim. We'll move on to the next caller, 257-5396. The number to call again, 257-5396. Let's go to Gilbert. Gilbert.
Hello, how you doing?
Hi, Gilbert.
Hey, I just want to talk to everyone. I did not vote. First off, I'm Hispanic. Mexican, and I did not vote for Trump the first time. But I didn't vote for Hillary either. I did the vote for the guy who wanted to legalize weed just for a protest vote.
I got you.
But I'm voting for Trump this time.
Why?
And this guy has brought results. He's brought more results than I've expected from any other politician, left or right.
What policies have brought results? Educate me. Maybe I'll switch my mind and maybe I'll vote for Donald Trump. What policies has he put into place that has completely turned this country around?
Okay, well, our growth is one of them.
Hold on. Let's start there, and then we'll move on to number 2 and number 3. Growth.
Okay.
Do you know? Hold on. Obama in year 3. Do you know what his growth was from year 1 to year 8? Did you ever give him credit for growth? Because he got.
Can I explain to you why that was, though?
Sure.
We were losing a lot of jobs from the administration before. So all you really, and with the thousands and thousands of jobs that were lost because of Bush's, trickle down or the fall of his economy, Obama, he had no choice but to go up. America is strong as a whole. So as long as you get people working again, give them, then American is its own engine to go up. So the fact that he didn't grow faster at a better pace in 8 years shows that his policies are not economically sound.
With all due respect, if you look at the actual economy, job growth, when Obama took over to year 8, Trump has done a good job of not screwing it up. It's continued its path.
Actually, Obama went up, down, up, down, up, down.
Okay, that's not true.
He was great for major businesses. He was terrible for race relations, and he was awful for entrepreneurs.
Okay,
and small businesses.
Not 100% true.
I don't think Trump is bad for race relations. I'm not saying he is.
Well, I was talking about Obama.
No, Obama. Yeah, Obama. I think he did more to hurt race relations.
Right.
He I think Obama was a great idea, but I just think it didn't pan out right. It didn't pan out right.
I will agree with you when it comes to race relations. I do not think Barack Obama helped. I agree. I also think it doesn't help when you have a president talking about KKK members and neo-Nazis and saying they are good people on both sides. I don't think that helps either.
But do you think that having the stock market be up 50% helps?
Well, let's talk about the KKK. What Donald Trump said was a gaffe. You know,
a what?
I don't think. I don't think he meant that the KKK were good people. He said David Duke is a bad person.
That's not what he said. In fact, when he was asked about David Duke when he was running for president, he said he didn't know who David Duke was. Yet,
afterwards,
that's a lie. That's a lie. He was seen talking about David Duke 15 years ago. He knew exactly who David Duke was.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Thank you. So, do you think? And this, I don't care about the guy being a good guy or a bad guy as far as
okay. Well, I do.
Okay, but let me ask you: do you think Hillary Clinton could have gotten more accomplished and moving the country forward if she would have gotten elected?
Okay, I'm going to answer that question because you're a good caller, but with all due respect, Hillary Clinton is not the president, and I did not vote for her. With that being said, I'll tell you what I'll tell you what I think about Hillary Clinton. I don't like her because I think she's a typical lying politician. Okay, that's why I didn't vote for her. With that being said, I do not think that she would embarrass the country and lie and be up on a stage. Let me put it to you this way. When you're up on a stage with an evil dictator like Vladimir Putin and you kiss his ass and you say, well, I'm going to take your word for it. You know, you didn't interfere in the elections. I'm not going to listen to the CIA. Hillary Clinton wouldn't do that. Now, would she have been a great president? I'll tell you one thing about Bill Clinton, okay? Bill Clinton ended with a surplus. Bill Clinton, and even Republicans will admit this about, and again, this is Bill, this is not Hillary.
It's true.
Bill Clinton, Republicans will even admit this, that Bill Clinton was one of the best at reaching across the aisle and working with Republicans. I don't know if Hillary would do that, not saying she would, but that's what I'm saying about Bill, and that's one thing I did respect about Bill. Now, he screwed up, he lied, he we all know what he did with Monica Lewinsky. We don't need to go into that again, Gilbert.
Agreed.
But, look.
He also started the blueprint for what was the major housing crisis.
Well, he wasn't perfect. He made some mistakes. But, I think Donald Trump is the blueprint for how to disrespect the country and embarrass the country and lie on Twitter and social media on a regular basis.
Okay, but with that being said, I think Trump has the new blueprint for America, I think, is having a CEO-minded way of running the country, because let's remember, America is the biggest business in the world.
But I don't think we want a CEO mentality, because all they care about is max profits for the rich, and that's Donald Trump. He's done that his whole life.
He clearly cares about employing lots of people as well, which is good for the economy overall.
According to Trump, he hires the best people.
If people have money to spend, they can spend it on various different things.
Gilbert, I appreciate the call, good questions. I respect your opinion, and you're entitled to that. I appreciate the phone call.
Great call, Gilbert.
257-5396. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Mike. Mike, thanks for calling in. How are you?
Hey, Mike.
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. What's on your mind?
Listen, so Donald Trump's doing good for the economy. Jobs since he's taken office. Also, the unemployment rate is down. Also, we're not in a war with any countries. We're not sending 2 planes with $560 million to Iraq because we're afraid of them.
Can I ask you a question, Mike?
And we're not being threatened.
Americans don't care about his personal life. Americans care about production.
Not true.
And he is producing.
Not true. First of all, did you have a problem when we went into Iraq? George W. Bush started a war in Iraq. Did you have a problem with that war?
Hey, that was George W. Bush, wasn't it?
I'm asking you a question. Did you have a problem with that?
Crying with Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
I'm asking you a question.
Wars and nobody's trying to fight with America.
Mike,
and Brian, that war was about oil.
Mike, I understand that, but I'm asking Mike, as a Republican, and I'm imagining you're a Republican and a Trump supporter, did you have a problem with George W. Bush starting a war in Iraq?
Yes, by all means.
Okay, good. Then I respect your opinion on that. Now
I'll tell you why I have a problem with that war. Because the Bush family is
our own oil now. We have our own fuel. We don't need to go to other countries for our fuel.
So Donald Trump right now in this summit with Kim Jong-un, why is he there? Explain to me why he's there, Mike.
He's there to relate to other leaders, to bring other leaders together so this can be a better nation, a better country for all of us to live on this universe.
So Donald Trump, there's a reason why I asked you that question. That was a general answer you gave me. But back in 2018 in April, Donald Trump said, quote, We haven't given up anything, and they've agreed to denuclearize. So great for the world. Site closure and no more testing, while Pompeo and our own intelligence tells us that is absolutely not the case. So my question to you is, are you okay with the President of the United States saying that Kim Jong-un and North Korea have denuclearized when he is there right now trying to kiss his ass, trying to get them to denuclearize? Are you okay with our president lying, regardless of how good the economy is? Are you okay with him lying on a regular basis and just being a con man and lying to the people and saying we're going to build a wall and Mexico's going to pay for it? He campaigned on a complete lie. Are you okay with him saying, well, these people coming into their country, they're rapists, they're bad people, and I would assume some of them are good people? Are you okay with him going after John McCain, a prisoner of war, and basically just calling John McCain a disgrace because he was captured? I understand that you're a fan of the economy. I understand that you're a fan of unemployment. But there are also other factors. And when you say that Americans don't care, you are absolutely wrong. He's got a 40% approval rating.
Americans do care. That's what I'm saying. Americans care about what is being.
Then why is he 40%?
Producing for us.
Brian, he's not 40%.
Yes, he is.
There's no way he's actually 40%.
His approval rating is 40% right now.
Has had 73% women supporting Donald Trump. It's gone up from 56% to now 73%.
What is the national poll, Mike?
You guys on the bandwagon. The Gallup poll.
What is his poll right now? I'm not talking about women. I'm just talking
70%.
No, he's not 70%. I didn't ask you that. I didn't ask you that. What I want to know if you know what you're talking about. Okay, with all due respect, where is he at right now, as a whole?
As a whole, he's climbing, isn't he? Wasn't he at one point below 50? Now he's above 50.
He is not. No.
56%.
Mike, with all due respect.
Well, I do know this: 83% of the country approved of his State of the Union address.
I don't know where you got that stat from. I don't know where'd you get that from? I didn't see that. 80% of people approved his State of the Union.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, somebody wrote him a speech, just like every president does, and he read it.
He did a good job.
When he goes,
he was very, very presidential and classy and formal.
I agree. In a public speaking,
very, very non-Donald Trump.
I agree.
Bottom line, Brian, what he was saying is people prioritize the economy doing well and progress and results over this guy's personal faux pas in his past and his history.
This isn't just personal faux pas. Why do you say that? He might have broken campaign finance law. There could be Russian collusion. He might have broken laws and committed felonies when he was president. Now,
have you ever seen the movie The Firm?
Yes, I've seen that movie. Yes.
At the end of the movie, Tom Cruise says, I've got these guys on overbilling. You've got 760 counts here. That's more than they had on Capone.
Yes.
It doesn't seem like much, but it's got teeth. And that's what this is.
Okay,
this is the exact same thing.
Again, you're making an assumption. We don't know that to be true. Let's wait and see this until this Mueller investigation. There could be some felonies in there, and there are a lot of people that's saying that he could have broken the law when he was the president. And if that is the case, then he deserves to be punished for it. Let's go to Louis. Louis, thank you for calling into the Vegas Take. Louis, how are you?
What's up, Louis?
Good. How are you guys tonight?
Good. What's on your mind?
Hey, I just wanted to, listen to you guys for a while now. I love your show.
Thank you.
I've wanted to chime in for quite a few weeks.
I'm glad you did, Louis. I'm
just
glad.
Got to call in, man. It's okay.
I might be a little feisty at times, Louis, but I'm really a nice guy. I really am. I'm a very gentle man.
No, actually, you don't scare me.
Thank you. Trust me, if you saw me in person, I definitely wouldn't scare you. Okay, I'm like 160.
Right. Yeah. Wait, Louis. So do I scare you?
No. You're never there, man.
Okay, good.
I love it. You're right, Louis. He is never. He's my co-host, and he's never here. I already like Louis. Louis is already my favorite call of the day. All right, go ahead.
Touche, Louis, touche.
Go ahead, Louis. What's on your mind, my man?
Well, I think the last caller, not the last one, the one before that, Gilbert, the Hispanic guy that.
Yes, sir.
I'm actually Hispanic myself. I'm born and raised in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
American citizen, and I've never been discriminated before in my whole life until 2016. And, a lot of people don't want to, are afraid to say that, words don't matter. What Donald Trump doesn't say it doesn't matter, but it really does.
Mm-hmm.
And, every little thing, it's kind of escalating. The whole fake news. You have people, Trump supporters shouting at reporters. Now, it kind of escalated to violence with the guy jumping and beating up the camera guy.
Right.
You had that nut job that, with the Trump van that sent fake bombs to all the other people.
Sure.
It's escalating, and I think it's going to get worse.
I agree. I don't know what the answer is, Louis, because I don't think Donald Trump is going to change.
He's not. He's not. And what bothers me more is kind of like how I just don't understand the Trump supporters. I I just don't get. I don't know if they understand logic.
You're talking to one, not me. You're talking to my co-host. You're talking to one, JD. Go ahead, JD. Have a conversation.
No, it's just I understand, like you say, this policy thing, I can argue back and forth, debate that. That's fine. But stuff like that, with the whole race, with his little, there's good people on this side, there's good people on that side. He hasn't really said anything about that guy, that the lieutenant from the Coast Guard.
I agree.
That hit list.
So Louis, a guy like Gilbert calls up, and he's one of those guys where Donald Trump said, if I shoot somebody on 51st Street, Gilbert's going to vote for him. Okay, so then there's people like you that are logical people that are not biased. You don't sound to me like a biased person, and I'm not just saying that because you don't like some of Donald Trump's rhetoric. I would imagine, Louis, let me ask you this question. If he didn't make comments like, these people coming into our country, they're rapists, they're criminals, and I suppose some of them are good people. If he toned down the rhetoric, let's just assume he didn't have Twitter, or if he did have Twitter, he let an intern take it over. I would imagine you probably wouldn't be saying these things about Donald Trump, would you?
Absolutely. Like I said, the economy's doing great. Some of it is his policies. Some of it was, from the president before.
Right. I agree with that. Yeah.
And he just, and that's fine. But, like you hear on social media, all these, I don't want to say everybody, but, you have this, like, why are you speaking Spanish? This is America, But if you go to, like, the local Costco, you go to the local Target or whatever, you see Chinese people speaking Chinese. You see,
of course,
Arabic people speaking Arabic. But you don't see people, hey, go back to your country. You only see that in Hispanic people.
That's that, and it's ignorance. I
don't get that.
People are ignorant, and they're hateful people, unfortunately, in the world. And Louis, I am so glad you called. You make Go ahead. Quickly. Yep.
Little thing.
Go ahead.
I'm Hispanic. I'm brown. I'm an American citizen, born and raised San Diego. Did 2 tours in Iraq. One in Afghanistan.
Thank you for your service.
Sure.
So you're telling me you didn't have bone spurs? Is that what you're saying?
No. Maybe bone spurs after I did my service, but not before.
Well, you're a hero as far as I'm concerned.
If I'm standing next to, I don't know, I'm assuming JD is white, right?
That's a very, very, very good assumption. I'm more white than JD,
okay.
But yes.
All right. If we're standing next to each other, and JD happened to be a person from Finland or Sweden or somewhere with an expired visa who is in the country illegally, and you ask the Trump supporter, who is the illegal in this picture, I'm saying a firm bet that 90%, 99% would say I'm the illegal just because I'm brown.
All right.
I don't know.
Let's let
JD. That's my point.
Let's let JD respond to that. Louis, fantastic call. We'd love you to call back anytime, my friend. Very good caller. JD, respond to what he just said.
I would say that's probably true.
Yeah, you think?
I would say that's true. Right. Yeah, that seems. I mean, I do look Scandinavian.
Yeah,
and I guess that, but that's. Vegas is a very, very diverse place, though.
It is,
and there's a lot of different races here, kind of intertwining and working together. So I hear that wouldn't, and a lot. Actually, I know a couple of poker players who they're Israeli, and they come here 3 months a year because they're only allowed to come here 3 months a year. And so if you have an expired visa, that's totally on you.
Yeah.
But I do think just by stereotype, I'm sure that would be the case.
Louis calling in just proves that Gilbert is wrong, and I am also right. There are people like that out there, okay, like Louis, who are not going to vote for Donald Trump. I'm not saying Donald Trump's not going to win in 2 years, but I'm saying there are people out there that are not going to vote for Donald Trump because of this hate and because of this rhetoric. You could say he started doing it a little bit before he got elected, and he did, but I think a lot of people thought that he would tone it down, and he has not, and I think this Mueller investigation is going to be a big deal. We're going to have to follow this and monitor this and wait and see what happens. Okay, when we come back, we're going to be joined by Jamison Welsh from Drive Time Sports. We got this FBI probe in college basketball. We are going to touch on that. UNLV playing UNR. We're going to talk about that, JD, coming up next. I know you had mentioned that you might be taking UNLV in this one. They're getting 17 points, so we'll talk about that. Jamison coming up next. You're listening to The Vegas Take on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN.